Welcome to episode 48 of Timm Talk, the podcast about the DC animated universe co-created by Bruce Timm. I'm Chris Lord.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And we got some Toyman this week. We got some Kryptonite this week.
It's amazing that we made it 5 episodes in before they even brought up Kryptonite.
I'm kind of glad they did that.
Me too.
Because it is overused, and if I recall, I think we're going to see a lot of it over the course of the series.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So they gave us a real villain too, and with Toyman first. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, let's put him in a situation where Kryptonite isn't just the answer, and then we'll introduce Kryptonite.
Yeah.
I was also like, okay, thank God I don't have to try and research 2 villains this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually found more on Kryptonite than I did on Toyman.
That's really surprising to me because growing up, I mean, I mentioned last week that I never watched the series before, but Toyman makes an appearance, and I think every series after this. Is he in Batman and New Adventures?
So, I mean, we'll get to it. He is in basically what I found is that he's in almost everything, but he doesn't necessarily have a lot of really big story arcs.
It's kind of the same story every time.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing.
He kidnaps someone, and then he uses a giant toy animal.
Yeah, it's all basically just the same shit over and over again. I mean, he is integral to a couple of really great episodes of Justice League, at least one I can think of off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah, where he vaporizes Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's
a good one.
Those are really good episodes. But other than that, I mean, he just kind of is in a lot of stuff. And he's always great.
Yeah. He's so creepy.
He is super creepy. And I think that's part of the reason why there's not that much out there for him, because the comic version is just a normal dude, like a normal looking guy, and doesn't have
He's more of the Bruce Timm character in
a lot like
season.
that, actually, big round glasses, long red hair, kind of dorky looking,
just a nerd,
just your garden variety,
he's just one of us,
nerd, just like one of us, kidnapping people, holding them ransom.
Everyone's got to do it every now and then.
I had to soundproof the door here because it was getting too loud to record a podcast.
Oh,
yeah, it's fine.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
That's for the audience. That's not for me. Yeah, that's for you guys.
Yeah, my forced audience that I keep imprisoned here. There's not that much news.
We scrambled because it's been almost 2 weeks since we last recorded.
Yeah, we're on a weird off cycle. We're recording this the day before it comes out. Always fun.
Yeah. And nothing has happened in the nerd world.
No, not really.
We've been in a stasis.
Yeah, because I tried to do a quick scramble to find anything. I mean, a couple of little noteworthy things. So not the next official DC animated movie, because they're not considered part of the lineup, but the next 1960s inspired animated movie, Batman vs. Two-Face, with William Shatner as the voice of Two-Face.
Who is going to voice Batman now? Because
Adam West. This is his last work.
Oh, he's already done it.
Yeah, he got it before he died. So this will be the last appearance of Adam West as Batman. And I know one of my plugs a few weeks ago was the first one, the Return of the Cape Crusader or whatever. It's pretty good.
Okay, yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm looking forward to this next one. So that comes out in October. So yeah, I guess we'll talk about it then. And then, of course, Batman and Harley is making its actual premiere tonight. Mm-hmm. We, of course, have already seen it. As
of listening this, it will be out for digital release.
That's true, yeah. So I think we're going to revisit it because we're trying to do a mini crossover with Novice and Frank to talk about it. Because we ran into Frank at Comic-Con.
He was very vocal about it.
He hated it. So, okay, let's get Amanda in there and we'll talk about it. So we're going to work on that. But the only other big bit of news, and I'm just going to give you just a block of window, just a section here to talk about this. Netflix and Disney. So,
that's right.
So Disney is ending their streaming relationship with Netflix by the end of 2019. We don't know yet what the status of Marvel properties and Star Wars will be.
Because they did say that they were going to get all of the Star Wars. By, I think, the end of this year, we were supposed to get all of the Star Wars movies on Netflix.
Oh, even the Fox films? The original ones being the Fox films. Oh, interesting. Okay.
According to the contract from mid last year, from memory.
Okay. Well, that would be cool. And then, I mean, of course, obviously with Marvel, they have the actual Marvel show. So I feel like it'd be hard for them to completely pull their relationship with that.
I did a search over the weekend, and they've already started the pull.
Okay.
So I remember Rebels being on for a little bit, and it's gone now.
Was it on Netflix?
I think so. I think it was on for a month or two.
Okay, I've only watched it on XD.
And they're slowly starting to pull the animated films. We still have all of the bad sequels,
of course.
And then Clone Wars is still there. Mm-hmm. And I think they pulled Ultimate Spider-Man already.
Okay. I feel like if one company had the kind of catalog to pull off setting up their own streaming service as Disney, but that being said, is this just a dick move on their part?
So I had a lot of feelings when I first heard about this news, and I didn't fully think about it because I had the idea of like streaming services outside of Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon don't work because they don't have the kind of, A-list shows constantly coming in.
Yeah. So, for example, like CBS is forcing us to watch the new Star Trek on their CBS All Access, which makes me mad 'cause I'll pay for it because I want to watch it, but also fuck you, CBS, because I don't want to watch it in the rest of your stuff.
And DC is doing the same thing with Young Justice Season 3.
Right, yeah.
It's going to be on a DC-specific platform. And obviously we have dozens of other, streaming services that aren't doing great. I work for one of them, and they're not like they had this moment where they were thriving.
Yeah.
But I think too many came out at the same time because you had full screen, you had YouTube Red, you had. I mean, I'm going to lump in HBO Go because people only use that for one thing, and I feel like a lot of these other mini platforms were the same way.
Yeah. But I mean, you got Amazon, you got Netflix, you got Hulu, Showtime, HBO. FX has an app, but I don't know if you can actually just pay for that independently or if that's just through a cable provider.
CISO,
which is dead.
It died?
Yeah, CISO.
Where's Harmon Quest going to be now?
I don't know, but I mean, I just read that CISO's going down.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Actually, and I was going to sign up for that because there was some good stuff on there that I wanted to watch. And
yeah.
Sorry, I should have done it.
This is your fault,
It's
Chris.
all my fault, yeah. Jonah Ray is not going to be employed anymore, except for Mr. Science Theater 3000, all because of me.
Yeah. But there's... Like, there are too many of these things. And with Disney doing this on their own, I don't know, my initial thought was it was just going to tank, or it was going to fall in the same realm as HBO, where it was going to be one account shared between, a dozen people.
Yeah.
Because they just don't have the catalog of updated stuff.
Okay.
Like, why would I pay, $10 a month approximately for... if I'm in the mood for a Disney movie when I could rent that movie for $1 or $2.
Well, but it's not like $1 or $2. Like on iTunes, it's $5 usually, and I feel like a lot of the Disney stuff you can't even rent on iTunes. Like I've bought Disney movies. Like I have Disney movies in my catalog. Like, oh, I want to go watch Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, oh, I guess that's $15 I'm going to spend on that. So, I mean, if they have literally everything, like every single one of their animated movies, every one of the live action movies, except for Song of the South, which we'll never see again for good reason. If that were all on there, it might actually be worth it.
Yeah, so I had that thought, and then so I don't know if you have read about this, but this already exists in Europe.
Oh, doesn't it?
And it sounds amazing.
Okay.
Because it's not just for movies. It's movies, TV, music, and books.
Oh.
And it's kind of an all-encompassing entertainment app.
Yeah.
And when I read music, that is every single Disney soundtrack. They said over 5,000 songs.
Because a lot of it's not on Spotify.
I know.
Like
and
Aladdin.
There's one song that I want that's not on Spotify.
It's probably from Hercules, right?
No, they have all of Hercules.
Okay.
It's Stand Out from Goofy Movie. And I have friends at Disney, and we've made fake petitions to like get Spotify to add this song to because it's the only song on the soundtrack that isn't there.
Okay.
Between that and Extreme Goofy Movie, it's the only song.
Oh my god.
I finally caved and I bought it.
Okay.
I bought it on iTunes because I needed it.
It's amazing it took you that long to actually buy it.
Well, so what really pisses me off and what's like very powerful on Disney's part is even on YouTube, there isn't a full 3-minute and 31-second version.
Wow.
It's only the it's only the scene from the movie, which is only like a minute and a half.
Okay, it's not the full.
I didn't know that, and I'd never heard the full version until this past weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is shocking.
Yes, it was.
So if they do something like that, then it'd be worth it.
I think
for
so.
You, right? But I feel like in the US, they're probably not going to put all that together. It's probably just going to be video streaming.
That's what a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if they put. I mean, I would love it to have music in there too. Because I mean, I have a couple of playlists that are basically mostly Disney songs.
Yeah,
just give them all to me.
And then the other thing is, I think if they do a big push at the beginning. This will be great for like 2 years.
Okay.
But then once they kind of start tapping out of that, you know, not retro content, but previous content, and people are going to kind of be like, why am I paying for just a library?
Yeah.
And they're going to want the new stuff. And there is enough because you have, you know, all of ABC TV, you have all of the animated stuff, and I think it's going to be huge for kids.
Yeah.
For that's the audience for some reason I didn't think about.
Well, I would imagine
someone had to remind me that kids aren't meant for us.
Kids exist.
Yeah.
I would think that maybe they'll over time transition a lot of their XD properties onto this thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I meant little kids. Like, toddler programming was something that didn't even faze me.
Well, and think about it. Little kids will watch the same shit over and over again and be completely happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, we do as well, don't we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know. I think it's one of the most interesting things that's happened in the industry of late. And so I'm like, I'm curious what you had to think about. Any last thoughts before we get on to our real topic?
I have a lot of thoughts.
I know, that's why I'm going to cut you off.
Them.
Okay. Any little pearls of wisdom? Any little things?
There were rumors that we're going to get all the DComs, all 100 of them, and that would make me buy it immediately.
Okay. Well, then we can finally get that DCom podcast going.
DCom DCast 2018.
We've always talked about, because we have time for that.
Yeah. Plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm not going to scramble to get this thing edited in the next 12 hours. No, it's fine.
We're not going to get the same artwork as last week. Of course not.
Sleep. What are you going to do for our offline conversation?
That's an offline conversation.
But let's talk about our 2 episodes a week. First off, it is Fun and Games. It is the introduction of Toyman.
Yes, and I find Toyman so fascinating.
I do too, and I think it comes back to this idea that I think in this iteration he is super fascinating. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else where he's quite as compelling. Like, I know he popped up in Superman Doomsday. He's like that big spider. And he's just like a weird-looking guy. And I think he has a role in the Arrowverse as well. And he just always is kind of this awkward, long-haired, googly-glassed guy. And here he is super creepy.
Yeah. And it's because I didn't realize until the last scene of this episode that that's a mask.
It is a mask, yeah.
Because they never...
You think it was?
They never go into that again. In the Justice League episode, it never breaks.
No.
In Static, it never breaks.
Yeah, but I mean...
But I don't know. I just thought it was some, like,
face?
creepy...
Like,
I don't know.
How does
Too much plastic
breathe?
surgery.
How does he...
It's a comic, Chris. There was a kid that was half of a seal.
Oh, God, that's true. That's very true. Okay, fine. I'll give you that.
But now he did... what's the Michael Michael Fassbender movie where he wears that? Is it Frank? Okay.
It's Frank, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like that.
Oh, hang on. Keep talking. I normally watch these like well in advance. I watched these yesterday literally on a plane, downloaded. Thank you, Amazon, for that feature. I never looked up trivia. So why don't you talk for a bit? I'm going to see if there's any trivia because I didn't do that yet.
Starting off the episode, I didn't realize how much I missed this until starting the season, but I forgot how nice it was to see bright colors.
I know, right?
It was it like took me by surprise almost watching these episodes of like
colorful.
Having a car chase in the middle of a day. And I'm like, oh wow, these windows are like bright blue and the sky is clear and it's not like cloudy or rainy or sad. And it was nice. Like it's not something that I dislike about Batman. Like it's one of the coolest things is giving this environment to it. But it's one of those things where you don't realize how much you miss it until you have it again.
Cool. No trivia for this episode. On we go.
Awesome. So these villains rob a bank. They go to their hideout, and Toyman is there, and he basically has like Flubber.
Oh yeah, because it's a bouncy ball that
gains momentum every time it hits something.
Which is I feel like
is awesome.
What else was that in?
It's terrifying.
I feel like that was.
It's in something because I also couldn't think.
Cool.
Closest thing I could think of was Flubber.
No trivia for the Krypton episode either. We're good to go.
Awesome.
All right. I'm trying to remember. I feel like I've seen something else that it's like it has that weird inverse property where it adds energy as it goes. I don't know what it is, but it's a cool scene because he just creepily kind of like walks in like bouncing the ball, being like, "Oh, you need to send a message to your boss, Bruno Mannheim," and then he just lets the ball go and steps out, and then it
keeps going higher and higher and higher, and then it starts hitting off the walls.
Yeah, and it's destroying this warehouse. They all scramble into the armored car. It's destroying the armored car.
This is Superman's first villain.
Superman's first real villain.
It's a bouncy ball.
He hears all the distress and he comes crashing through the skylight. How did the ball not go out of the skylight? We'll ignore that.
Angles. It's like when you're watching an old DVD and you're waiting for the logo to hit the corner exactly.
Oh yeah, right.
It's a small window in a big room.
Exactly. I did love that over the police band they said that they were last seen spotted at 3rd and Schuster. I don't know if you caught that.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
nice.
I know. I'm not gonna explain what that is. If you don't know,
then do your research.
But I just a ball, right? Oh, yes.
Superman versus bouncy ball. He just kind of slaps it and it pops.
I love that because he gets in there and he gets hit and it actually knocks him back. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And he just waits and waits and waits and he just smacks it between his fingers and it dissolves. It's like it's cool to see him like phase but not really defeated by it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bouncy ball. I didn't want him to be defeated by
it.
I didn't want this to be the commercial break. It's like he falls and the ball is flying toward his face and the music comes on and we cut to black.
Yeah.
Like that's not the moment I wanted.
No, that would have been a little bit much.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then like Lois writes up some article about
it's harsh
about
about Toyman.
Okay, wait, hang on. I'm trying to remember. Is Winslow shot the dad or the kid or both?
I have no idea. They don't say any names.
Well,
if they do, then it's the kid.
Okay.
She goes and gets gets the Toyman psychiatric review.
Oh, that's right.
Which is harsh. I wrote it down because it's so mean.
I did not.
In the article she wrote, he is emotionally stunted, a moral narcissist, paranoid delusions, desperately seeking external validation for antisocial behavior.
Wait, is that my file? What?
Yes, that is all of our files.
Okay.
We did skip a small scene, which I thought was awesome. Is they go to Mannheim. They go to Bruno Mannheim. He's opening up a park.
Oh, yeah.
And we get, I love the banter between Lois and Clark because there's, this competitive edge to them. Mm-hmm. And it's so nice.
It is. I've always maintained that Smallville is the best live-action version of the dynamic, but then obviously this does an incredible job with it. Mm-hmm. Maybe better than that still, but animation's not the same.
Yeah. So Toyman sends these toy planes that have machine guns attached to them that are chasing after Bruno. And he has... I bring this up way too often at this point, but the run cycle they gave him was so wonderfully cartoony.
Oh, Bruno Mannheim?
Yeah.
As he's running away, yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like a simple, straight arm back and forth. He runs with his knees kind of straight out.
Yeah, it's got this weird gangly thing going on.
And it's very, Scooby-Doo-ish. And I love it.
Oh, it is kind of Scooby-Doo-ish.
Yeah, it's very Hanna-Barbera-y.
Yeah.
And I love every second. And they bring it back 3 or 4 times, so you know that they liked it in the studio.
So they just kept it, yeah.
Yeah.
It is fun to see them.
He's very he's not a lanky character at all, but they make him this very flopsy, almost without bones at points.
Yeah,
which is it's entertaining when they slip in those little overly cartoony moments.
Well, it's kind of fun to watch this and see that they're going for a very different tone. The tones will eventually kind of reconverge by the time we get to Justice League. Mm-hmm. But right now, it is really playful. I mean, the first real villain is Toyman, and his weapons are a rubber ball,
giant
machine gun
rubber duck,
and a giant duck. I loved the duck.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous. It just literally pops out of the water and just pecks at Mannheim's yacht until it breaks it apart, and then it opens its wings and fucking launches missiles.
Yeah,
it's delightful.
Yeah, it's goofy and exciting,
but it works though. Mm-hmm. Almost better than some of the more ridiculous elements of Batman, because Batman, not that it ever was too serious, but that world is definitely a little bit more serious.
Right, not even Joker could maybe get away with one of these per episode. And he does. He has toy planes at one point.
Yeah. And then I feel like there was a reference to the giant duck at some point. 'Cause it
Yeah,
returns,
and
was it
one of the Penguin episodes,
Yeah.
I think it's a flashback. So I think it's also the same episode with the giant coin.
Oh, it might be.
It might be Almost Got Him.
Okay, that would make sense. But it's in there. But I love the
Yeah, this one is so
I love
nice.
the giant duck. And I love that. I mean, Superman, again, he gets knocked around by the missiles, but he still defeats it because it's
Right.
a giant duck.
I think part of it is with Superman, since he does have superpowers, they can go a little crazier with the things.
I think they can, yeah. Because the whole premise is just a little bit more absurd. We're in a more colorful world, as you were talking about. Like, there's actual colors in this.
Yeah.
It's different, but I like it.
Speaking of colors, I'll find the link. I'm not going to put this in the plug. There was an awesome video about the horrors of the 90s and why every movie was brown.
Oh.
That was super fascinating. I'll send you the link later.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't remember much about it. So
Okay.
I can't go into details.
That sounds delighttul, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay, there is a moment that I'm really curious what your opinion is on it. So after I should remember how it all works now. So we now know that. Oh no! So Lois has written the article, and Toyman has captured Bruno.
He has
and then
knockout Bubbles.
Knockout Bubbles, yeah, that he gets Bruno. So then he goes after Lois. So Lois like opens the door and she assumes it's delivery, food delivery, and she looks down and it's a package that she opens. Inside of it is a toy. Is this Lois being stupid, or is this her being like true to her character?
I think it's true to her character because she is, as a reporter, she is curious about everything.
Yeah, she's naturally inquisitive to the point of being reckless.
And as a person, like we obviously don't know about her earlier career, but she's a very kind of high level reporter. We see that with how many connections she has.
Yeah.
And I was going to bring that up next episode, but I'll talk about it now. Lois is basically the Bruce Wayne of this world. Whereas whenever they needed information, Batman would just be Bruce, go and talk to someone because he had his hand in the pocket of someone.
Right.
Whereas Lois is basically the same person because she has all of her informants. We see that with the guy on the boat.
Yeah.
We see that in the next episode with the scientist that works for LexCorp. Whenever they need kind of exposition done, they do it through her, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
Because Clark doesn't have that kind of power. Like, he could use his super hearing,
right.
and I'm sure they're going to use that in some episodes. But a lot of it, he's on his own path, and Lois comes in and is like, I'm also following this path, but on this route, how about I, accidentally give out some information so Superman can kind of converge.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, because what I liked is in none of these episodes is she really a damsel in distress. So she is kidnapped, but at no point is like a gun pointed at her. Like, if anything, she helps them escape. When the airplanes attack, like, she's the one who like grabs Clark and pulls him down, like, don't be an idiot sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're doing I was worried, because I haven't seen this in a long time either. I was worried, especially at the first episode. I started doing a count, right? The number of times Superman saves Lois, because it was a lot in the pilot. But not here. Cool.
Yeah, just kind of the one at the very end.
At the very end.
I mean, when they leave Toyman's lair.
Do we count that?
Yeah, the lair blew up.
Yeah.
He had to grab her and Bruno.
Okay, I guess we count that. I gotta make a note. Hang on. All right, okay.
So Toyman
4. Okay.
Lois. I also think there was a line they snuck in, which I think kind of pushes it away from damsel and more of character, where she's like, "Oh, I hope someone sent me roses."
Oh,
where
okay.
like,
Yeah, she knows.
It seems like
So
So this isn't the first time someone has sent her a package or a death threat.
Yeah,
something like that's where I was initially going with that speech. Is she's so kind of powerful in the news world that I'm sure she gets death threats all the time.
That's a good point. Yeah,
because she's very nosy. We see that immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay, you know what? Yeah, they do. Okay, I'm glad you agree with me on that, because I was a little worried like it was her being kind of dumb, but no, I agree. It's her definitely acting within her character and just being like, well, we're going to see what happens here, because she has to be careful about everything. Because then she does get kidnapped and put like in a little doll's costume and sequestered off.
Did she? There was one thing about it which really bugged me.
The hands?
Yes. They had to have been gloves, right? Just like flesh-colored gloves.
Yeah, she was wearing like flesh-colored gloves. I thought that was gonna be a moment like where he was gonna give like a pen to take notes, and she's like, "How the hell do I write? I don't have like fingers anymore." But yeah, like they gave her weird gloves, so she has like no hands really.
Yeah, she looks like she has doll hands, like almost Lego hands.
Yeah. Because then the Toyman gives his backstory about like this toy maker who like just loved making toys, but he wasn't making any money. So then Bruno Mannheim shows up and like offers to give him a bunch of money, which he does. But then it basically becomes like the
toy maker wants to open his own toy shop.
Yeah,
but he doesn't have the funds to do it. So Bruno gives him the money as long as he can use that toy shop as
a front. It's a front for other things.
Yeah, for money laundering.
I like the way they did the whole backstory there because Toyman is telling the story and he's using a pop-up book.
Mm-hmm. And while that's going on, you have Clark and Jimmy
that's right, yeah,
reading about it at the same time.
Yeah.
And then at the very end, the kind of twist is they're like, oh, obviously this guy, the toy maker, is Toyman. And like, no, he died. This is his son. Mm-hmm. And like, that was a nice little like, oh, okay. He didn't escape jail.
Yeah.
He's not out for revenge for being caught. He's out for revenge for the death of his father.
Yeah, he said like he lost his childhood, so now he's like forcing it upon other people or something like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also liked it too because I've not seen this episode in a long time. I was like, oh god, I hope that somebody looks like they show this kind of old guy, and I guess he looks kind of like an older version of the comic book version of Toyman.
Okay.
But I was like, oh, I don't want to see his face. I just want him to always have like that creepy mask and not know what's underneath it. So I was glad that we ultimately don't know what he actually looks like underneath it.
Yeah.
Because he is so damn creepy.
Oh, I know. The very last scene is like, it's kind of like gave me chills.
I know.
Almost.
Yeah, because he's so stoic for the most part, except for these occasional like outbursts. And
oh, those were super creepy.
Yeah.
Because the very dark moment in the episode is he's captured Bruno and Lois. So he lowers Bruno onto a wall, and he has a kind of toy soldier firing squad ready to kill him.
Oh yeah.
There's a famous painting from the late 1800s that I can't remember the name of.
Firing squad?
Maybe earlier, or maybe later than the late 1800s. Yeah, it's Spanish or Cuban or Mexican. One of those Spanish-speaking countries.
The 3rd of May, 1808?
That's the one.
Yay, internet. Spanish painter.
Spanish, yeah.
Francisco Goya.
Yep, that's the one. I feel like they were definitely referencing that in this scene.
I mean, there's like tons of them on there, but I think it's probably the top left one, right?
It's this one, yeah.
Okay. Great for an audio medium.
Yep.
Yeah.
For all those art fans out there.
Hey, we get highbrow sometimes.
Yeah.
We're talking about Spanish 19th century painters now.
Yes. Spanish neoclassicism.
Oh, there we go. Getting all fancy.
I don't even think it's the right genre. Whatever.
Fuck it.
That's what I'm going to say it is. Because I took this class freshman year. And it's, it's a dark scene. You're like, oh, shit, this guy's about to... And they blindfold him, and Lois kind of goes over and pushes them all over.
Yeah.
And you see Toyman crack for a second of like, you broke my toys.
Yeah.
And you see, I mean, she gave that whole spiel at the beginning. Like, you see that, like, huge emotional stunting of, like, he's still a child under the helmet.
But it's that same just like Cheshire grin the entire time, like expressionless face. That contrast is what makes it so good and so brilliant.
And like his voice goes up, like he sounds like a kid.
Yeah,
during this whole thing.
Do you? I did look up who the voice of him is. You probably don't know who Bud Cort is, do you?
I don't. I saw who voices him in later episodes.
Does it change?
It does for something.
Okay. The most famous thing is that he was in Harold and Maude. He's Harold, by the way.
Okay.
He's not Maude. Have you ever seen Harold and Maude?
Nope.
It's an amazing film.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, really good. He turns this beautiful Jaguar into a hearse. It's great.
Ooh.
That's so fantastic. Go watch it, Cameron.
All right.
It's fantastic.
I thought you were going to say he turns the car into a person.
No. It's not that. I mean, it's weird, but it's like grounded
I'm like,
weird.
there was an episode of Fairly Odd Parents that did that.
Of course there was. What haven't they done in that show? But so Superman does, of course, show up eventually, and Toyman tries to take him out with basically death Play-Doh.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I thought this was the Kryptonite.
Oh,
For some reason in this world, I just assumed that Kryptonite already existed.
Okay.
Because, in most series, it kind of already does.
Yeah.
And so, like, he has green slime and, green Play-Doh that he throws at him. And Superman just kind of like, what is this crap?
what are you
and I'm like,
gonna do with
oh my
this?
god, it's Kryptonite, Superman. What are you gonna do? But it's not. It's a weird like lethal biogenic organism.
Yeah.
That won't stop growing until it suffocates its victim.
Yeah. So it
Crazy shit.
crazy. I know, really advanced stuff for a guy
Yeah.
just making toys. Yeah. So it's gonna basically kill Superman until he starts doing his like little spin thing and he flies it off. What do you think of this as a deterrent? Like, 'cause we're gonna find some really outlandish ways they're gonna try and slow down Superman over the course of the series. How do you feel about this one?
I think it's fine. I think Young Justice uses a very similar thing. And I think it's slowly seeping into the animated films because Batman and the Robins use it a lot, where it's like that maroon paste that expands and hardens.
Yeah. The Incredibles.
Yes,
use
The
it.
Incredibles uses it.
Yeah.
It's becoming a more, I don't know where it started.
I don't know.
That's becoming a bigger thing to like quote unquote stop super strength. So I think because of that, I was more accepting of this.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, it's just another one of those.
Yeah. It works though.
Yeah.
I liked it because it slows him down for just long enough. It's like it slows him down and he quickly has a solution to it. So it's not like, oh, what do I do now?
None of these big Superman moments are cliffhanger moments.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest difference between watching this and watching Batman.
That's true. Because like the cliffhanger moment in this is when the planes attack and start shooting. And like the suspense of that moment is how is he going to get out of this without revealing who
His
he
identity,
is?
yeah.
And he finds a quick solution to it. But yeah, you're right. It's more, they're more story beats than peril necessarily, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. So yeah, he gets out. Toyman has one kind of final like big hurrah of like, if I can't kill them, then I'm just going to kill everyone. He drops these 3 or 4 dozen bombs.
They look like little bombs, right? Is that from Mario? Yeah.
Yep.
I might know it's like sex
Bombs.
bomb, but I'm like, I have to take out that's from Scott Pilgrim. To take out the sex part. Yeah.
Yeah, sex bob bombs,
Yeah.
as they say in the movie. So Superman just kind of grabs Lois and
Bruno Mannheim.
Bruno.
It's so much fun to say this whole name, Bruno Mannheim.
I know, it's a good name.
Yeah.
They get out, big explosion. Bruno is kind of like, good, he's gone. I can go back to being a thug. And then the police are like, oh, no, I think this guy's dead. We're going to charge you for it. It was kind of the where I was going with that.
Like, but look what we found.
Yeah, and they hold a bag of the broken face.
It's so creepy.
And oh man, that just like gave me shivers.
I know. Oh,
It's like, fuck, this kid's gonna become Saw.
I know. So, I mean, he's basically already there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because I did try and do some research on him. Because I'm like, okay, like there's got to be some stuff, and again, there's kind of not. Like he does appear in pretty much everything. So yeah, he does appear in this. He appears in Static Shock. He appears in Justice League.
Great episode of Static was my first intro to him.
Okay,
as it will be for probably a lot of these films.
Most characters, that makes sense. Yeah, I think he pops up in JLU. A version of him was in The Batman. Another version of him is in Brave and the Bold and Young Justice. Now, there have been multiple Toyman. So this is Winslow Schott, who's kind of like the most consistent one. Then there's also Jack Nimble, who I'm not super familiar with. And there's also Hiro Okamura, who... Did you ever read the Batman, Superman Public Enemies comic?
No, I watched the movie.
Okay, the movie is okay. The comic's a lot better. But so Hiro's in that. He's the genius kid who builds the Batman Superman robot.
Okay.
He's popped up in a few things, but obviously the most common version is Winslow Schott, who I did take some notes.
Okay.
He made his first appearance in Action Comics number 64 in September of 1943. So he's been around a really long time. I mean, he was back all the way in the Golden Age. I don't have that much to say about him, really. Again, he's into everything.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm trying to
go see those things.
I was hoping that one of the names matched up, but it doesn't. The closest person I always compare him to is Control Freak from Teen Titans.
Okay, yeah,
because he was the big nerd who didn't use toys, but he kind of used like the power of media.
Okay,
to fight.
Yeah,
if you remember him,
he doesn't appear, at least according to this, in any Teen Titans. He is in Young Justice, and he's in Justice League Action.
Oh, and they also have
watched it. Yeah,
who's what's the puppet villain that's not Scarface? who also, I want to say it's like Puppet King.
Well, there's also
It's just Puppet King.
okay, because there's also Toymaker, who's like kind of related to it. But I don't know. Pretty solid villain, though. I'm glad that he was one of our first ones, and that we're going to be seeing him a lot. He's cooler than he should be.
Absolutely.
He should be like Killer Moth.
Yeah, we see a lesser version of him as the Bruce Timm villain in Batman.
That's true, basically, yeah. We do. But he's actually lethal, which I think is what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I mean, we've like talked about Mad Hatter, right? Mad Hatter could be one of the most lethal villains, but he kind of gets in his own way.
Right.
Toyman, less so.
We definitely see that in the Justice League episode when he vaporizes Superman.
Oh, yeah. God, that's great.
I know.
Those are two great episodes.
That's one of the ones where like you see Batman at his breaking point.
Yeah, because he just refuses to believe it. Oh,
yeah.
So excited.
So good.
We'll get there eventually. Until then, we do have one more episode to talk about, but first we have our sponsor.
What's our sponsor, Chris?
This week, it is a relatively new podcast, the Nerdist School Network. It's called Foodie Call.
Ooh.
Great little pun name. Do you want some puns?
Is it about late night snacking?
It is, yeah.
Good.
It's just post-fucking snacking. No, it's not. I don't know what it's actually about. I haven't listened to it. I looked it up. It's basically every week they have a guest on, and they talk about food.
Interesting.
Which sounds great. Also, it sucks right now because I'm really hungry.
Me too.
I know. It's terrible. But here's the promo for it.
Guess what's cooking at the Nerdist School Network?
It's Foodie Call,
a new podcast hosted by Omar Nava
and Kylie Hodges. Join us every Tuesday as we interview a hilarious guest to discuss their favorite food, and we ask, what's your secret sauce?
in cooking, in life, or in whatever.
And you especially don't want to miss Omar's weekly grocery flyer rundown.
Seriously, how pissed would you be if you missed a killer meat sale?
So go and subscribe to Foodie Call wherever you get your podcasts.
Want to nominate a guest for the show?
Just go to foodiecallpodcast.com.
Okay, come on, we gotta go.
Where?
There's a meat sale.
Ooh. Everyone should go listen to that.
Yeah, go check that out. But so now we're on to our episode about Kryptonite, A Little Piece of Home.
Yes. Great name for the episode.
It is a great name. Yeah, and so we start out and Lex Luthor is unveiling some new natural history museum to the world. I love it too because this is also our introduction to Mercy.
Yes.
Who is one of my favorite characters.
Who I now know and remember.
I mean,
I knew of her, but when you said her name, that wasn't the first person that came to mind.
Yeah, Mercy Graves.
Yeah.
I think in the comics she's an Amazon.
Oh,
this is the character I should have done some research on. I didn't. I think in the comics she's an Amazon. I don't know if she is in this. Obviously,
is she not an android yet? Because in Young Justice, she's definitely a robot.
That's not the most. She's not always a robot.
Okay.
She was in Batman vs Superman as his secretary, and she gets blown up in the Capitol.
Oh, of course she does.
Such a waste of her. I'm not going to get into it.
No, in Young Justice, she plays a huge role in Roy becoming Arsenal.
Oh,
and so that's kind of the story that I know her in, because she has the hand cannon.
Oh, that's right.
Her wrist kind of pops out, and she has a cannon in her elbow.
Okay. Let me see. Okay, she did premiere in this show originally.
Oh, wow.
Her comic appearance was Superman Adventures #1 in November of 1996. Her credited creators are Bruce Timm and Paul Dini.
Yay.
Makes sense. Okay, hang on. Oh, she does. Oh, she appears in No Man's Land arc. That's interesting. I didn't know that. As his chauffeur. It suggests that she may be in Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dead air.
What?
Dead air.
Mercy's Amazon heritage is confirmed in Justice League Cry for Justice. There you go. So, she is an Amazon.
Okay. And also sometimes part of an android.
Sometimes an android.
She just always keeps us on our toes.
Oh, yeah, she's cybernetic in Young Justice, as you already said.
Yes.
Anywho, she's there. She's awesome.
Oh yeah,
she's done.
So badass.
She's really cool. And so there's a couple guys trying to steal some jewels or whatever from inside the building. Clark hears them, so off he goes to become Superman. He goes in there, and as he's approaching one of the cases, he gets all weak in the knees.
Oh yeah, all wobbly kneed, as they say back in the day.
Yeah, as someone said back in the day somewhere.
As that one person said once. Those wobbly knees. He collapses. The villains. I liked that one of the villains is like, should we help him?
Yeah,
Like,
what do we do? It's
yeah.
Superman.
Obviously, it shows that they're like very novice villains. They don't do this very often. Even Lex says that later.
Yeah.
But I loved that kind of comparison. Like if Batman fell, the villains would just kind of kick him
They
and
just shoot
leave.
him.
Yeah.
But that's because everyone loves Superman.
Yeah.
I feel like even the bad guys kind of like him anyways.
Yeah.
How could you not?
So they escape.
Yeah,
As Lex opens the door.
Superman kind of stumbles out, all out of breath and weak.
Yeah. And so what I thought was interesting about this take on Kryptonite, I don't know if it's just because it's like his first exposure to it, but it kind of has a lasting effect. In most franchises, it's kind of just when he's near it, it hurts him. And once he's out of the radius, he's fine.
To be fair, I think that might just be an oversight in the writing, because later on in the episode, as soon as he's out of contact with
That's
it,
true.
he's
Yeah.
fine. So I think here they're just kind of making a big deal out of it. I think they wrote it to make it a big deal because it was the first time we were introduced.
Yeah, it's
to
also
it,
the
but-
first time he's had that feeling, so he
Yeah.
doesn't know what it is. We see that in, dare I say, Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah,
You
It's like,
have
wait,
the
what?
same kind of story point of like, why is this hurting me? Why am I not
Yeah, wait,
feeling
what?
good?
What is this?
Am I feeling better now? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, but so Lex is revisiting like the security tapes, and he recognizes the two villains, and he sends Mercy off to go take care of them, which is great. But then he's like, "Oh, wait, that's interesting. Like that rock seems to be messing with him." So Clark goes back the next day to check it out, and he learns that what was there has been taken away, and it's down in Lex's lab. And there's a professor, I forget the professor's name, who's like analyzing it. And
Peterson.
Peterson, yeah, because he's like, "Oh, this, you can't just use this as a weapon. Like, this could be valuable to mankind." My thought was, how? How the hell is that going to be valuable to mankind? The only thing they know about is that it hurts Superman.
I mean, it's new elements.
Yeah,
it's kind of their
guess.
thing. Like you can always use new elements.
I guess.
There's
Fine.
sometimes. I mean, they're very kind of chemistry themed people because they even when they're at Star Labs later, they're like, "Oh yes, Kryptonite has kind of this weird radiation. The only thing that affects it is like Le-39."
Isn't
And-
it 80?
I don't remember the chemical number of lead.
But
But he's
89 or 82.
yeah, but he says it's
Looking it
kind of number on the periodic table, and I'm just like, that's lead, right? And then Superman's like, "Oh yeah, lead," and I'm like, "Shut up, smart boy."
82. Hey, they confirmed it in the pilot that he's like a genius.
They did, and I I wrote it down later that when he's fighting the, I'll save it. I'll save it for later.
Okay.
So Lex has kind of a fight with, or not a fight. He yells at his scientists, like, "Do what I say. I pay you to do what I think."
Yeah. So then he goes to recruit a villain to like set up a scheme to get Superman. Did you happen to catch
Yeah.
who the voice of the villain is?
No, I missed it.
It's good old Thomas F. Wilson. Biff Tannen.
Oh, yay, Biff. I'm sorry, I just watched the thing with Paul F. Tompkins. That's the only thing I can think of.
Oh, Paul Tompkins, I love Paul.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with this.
I know.
So,
If it's a name, letter name,
yeah.
I'm first going to think of Paul F. Tompkins.
But it's great because, I mean, Thomas F. Wilson is always so good at playing those like kind of smarmy guys, right? Because he was the voice of Tony Zuko, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So here again, he plays this kind of like arrogant, really full of himself, like big bodybuilding, like criminal guy, and
Yeah.
he's trying to flirt with Mercy, and Lex like, no, she's not interested. Like, oh really? And she just like does like a roundhouse kick and knocks off like his
The
punching
speed
bag.
bag, yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
And
Oh,
I also love that you actually hear about Superman doing good for the city, where the villain was like, "Oh," or this guy was like, "Oh, yeah, I don't hit up Metropolis anymore now that the blue guy's here."
Yeah.
Of, like you actually see like, "Oh shit, he's actually stopping villains."
Yeah. Why would you ever try to rob that place?
No one would.
Yeah,
and like
he can be everywhere all the time.
yeah, and I think that's. I mean, I'm going to do a lot of comparisons to this in BTAS. Of I'm gonna fit it in until it sounds.
Aren't you BTOS?
I'm BTAS. You're BTAS.
I thought I was.
I don't know.
Fuck it.
Someone go back and tell us.
This is Ross Raish all over again.
It's. I think we switched by the end too.
No, I think we did.
Where like we never got that side of the villain culture in Batman of like,
No.
yeah, there's a crazy guy that dresses like an animal. I'm not gonna try and do anything anymore.
Yeah.
But with Superman, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna get caught, And Lex is like, oh, I plan on it. I have a plan.
Yeah. Because it's a great heist because they basically he goes up to the rooftop where some like mint plates
Is
are being
that the
exchanged.
best place to do an exchange
Probably.
of like national
Probably
security
not.
things?
I mean, I guess in most cities we find, but not in the cities where you got like villains with retro futuristic jetpacks.
Yes.
And flamethrowers are up on your roof. But yeah, so they they attack, they steal the plates. I love this because they blow up the helicopter, which falls off the building, and Superman has to go and save it, which probably is an homage to the Donner film because that's how we first meet Superman.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
he just kind of chucks it in the river.
Yeah, he doesn't do that in the movie.
There's a
but
lot of water in Metropolis.
There is.
I saw that
yeah.
a lot of this episode.
Note about that later.
Okay. This is a cool chase scene.
It is a
'Cause
good chase scene.
It was a scene through the sky where there's 3 guys on jetpacks,
Mm-hmm.
and Superman is kind of just taking them out one by one.
Yeah, and they all have different weapons. Like one guy's got a flamethrower, one guy's got like a bola launcher sort of thing, and the last guy, the lead guy,
doesn't shoot. I think he also has a flamethrower, but he because he just stops because the last guy is Biff Tannen.
Yeah.
And he just kind of gives up.
Yeah, because he stops.
His weapon is his fist.
That's exactly it. He stops in the middle of a construction site, and Superman comes in, and then the Kryptonite is suspended from the roof. And
Almost like a disco ball.
I know it's got a little.
It's got a kryptonite party going
Yeah.
on. Are you going to make a joke?
No,
I'll wait for your joke, Chris.
No, I was not going to make
Make
a
a joke, Chris.
I don't have any jokes to make.
So he kind of comes in. Superman is like, oh, good, a villain just giving up. This is going to be easy. Walks over, feels the kryptonite's effect. The villain starts punching him, gets a little too into it, too excited, pushes Superman out of the radius of the radiation, and Superman just kind of pulls him off the ledge.
Yep. And you think, oh, he's going to like fly.
Right.
He's away from the Kryptonite. No, they just land in a river because, like Gotham City, there's some very convenient placed rivers around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so I forget, how does Superman know it's Lex? I guess he just assumes it's Lex because he shows up at LexCorp.
Well, because it's Lex's museum exhibit.
Oh yeah, I guess that's that. Oh right, that thing.
So Mercy comes, grabs the kryptonite, walks off. Superman comes to Lex's window again. But, like, there's got to be a better...
I know. Every time this happens, you're just going to get so mad.
The window opens fully now. Like,
I know.
the first time it was just the top half.
It's like an 8-foot window that just opens on the side of a massive skyscraper. Yeah,
It'd be 10 feet because floors are generally 10
Oh,
feet.
that's right, that's
10
right,
feet
yeah.
tall. And this is the top of a motherfucking skyscraper. And Superman just kind of lands in. I want there to be a real life version of this where he opens it up and there's the big wind that comes in.
Yeah, it just gets
Superman
blown
just
out the
starts
window.
No, not even just that. Superman just starts talking and Lex can't hear a word that he's saying.
What?
It's like, can you step in so I can close?
Come inside. Shut the fucking.
I'm gonna leave an elevator for you. I'm gonna open the room next to me. You just walk through there.
Yeah.
I won't set any traps. Just we'll have a civilized conversation.
Yeah.
Where I don't have to open my window for you.
Just an open balcony and a security door.
What would
Come on
Superman?
in.
What would Superman do if Lex never installed that? Just stay out. Maybe use his heat vision very lightly and etch it in the glass.
Just
We need to talk. It's I know.
An arrow pointing down.
I'm the construction people are they're coming up. We're getting this done.
So then Lex goes to the elevator. Superman flies down. He's like, "That bomb. What's taking so damn long?" He goes back up and Lex, come on, we're downstairs. Go.
I forgot my phone. I need to get my
I need a notepad.
Yeah. I don't know your demands. I don't have my computer.
Oh, missed opportunities.
So many missed
on this
opportunities.
But
This could have easily been a 2-part episode.
But because he can't open the window, he offers him a deal, basically "Hey, do what I say, and I won't try and kill you." And Superman's like, "Nah, brah,
Yeah. He's like,
good.
I'm never going to be in your pocket.
no." So then, meanwhile, the professor has snuck off a chunk of the kryptonite and given it to Lois, who then is taking it to Star Labs. And Superman shows up there. And it's like, "What's the deal with this?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, this is a rock."
This is a small piece of Krypton one might call Kryptonite.
Kryptonite. And yeah, we learned that the only thing that can block this radiation is lead. And then the professor calls Lois, being like, "Oh, hey, I have something else, some other info. Oh, they're going to make synthetic versions of it.
Yeah.
So meet me at the museum.
At the museum in this 1 minute window.
Yeah, I'll leave it open for 1 minute, and of course it's all a ruse, and Mercy's there basically throttling the the professor, and like, oh, now Superman will be there too, and the trap is set.
Yes. And we learned that we met a very kind T-Rex at the beginning of this episode.
Okay, how do you feel about like Superman having to fight a robotic T-Rex in this scene?
Love it.
It's
Love it.
stupid. I'm kind of on board for it though.
Love it so much.
'Cause
I
it's so
only
ridiculous.
wanted
Like, why-
Batman to write it.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Isn't that a comic cover? Or is it Superman riding the T-Rex?
No, I think was that part of the
Or is it Spider-Man riding the T-Rex?
wasn't that part of the like the return of Bruce Wayne when he's like going through all the different time periods?
I don't
I think,
think so.
Isn't there a
That's
meme?
another series.
Isn't there a meme of like Batman riding a T-Rex?
Yeah.
with like a lightsaber.
I think so. We'll both look it up so we can have dead air.
I know.
You can look it up. So he locks him in. They set off the alarm. Lois and Superman are locked in the room with the mechanical T-Rex being operated by Lex from afar. He drops a piece of kryptonite in the middle of his mouth.
Hang on, real quick. There's a toy from like the Batman Unleashed or whatever.
That's so amazing.
There's a toy of Batman riding a giant robotic T-Rex.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. Batman Unlimited, Animal Instincts. Mm-hmm. But then there's all these other just general images of Batman riding a T-Rex all over the internet. I'm not sure why, other than, well, I guess why wouldn't you?
Yeah. I mean, it was like when the photo of Roosevelt came out of him riding the moose through the river.
Oh man, yes. It's got to Photoshop the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about my my idea for the greatest video game of all time?
No.
It's zombie Nazis riding dinosaurs. So it's like
Okay.
a little bit of Turok, a little bit of like Call of Duty, like zombie Nazis, and you have like you go to an island, like the island from the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Mm-hmm. You just like take that general concept and move into the future. And like, oh yeah, like so they did like all these experiments and it was abandoned, so that's why there are dinosaurs, and then also like they had a zombie virus, and there was an outbreak. So you go there and there are both like raptors and like zombie Nazis going on at the same time. Greatest idea for a video game ever. Greatest. And now someone out there, one of our
immediately.
One of our 40 listeners is going to steal it. Just give me credit, guys, and maybe send me a check. What's happening in the episode?
They drop the kryptonite in the middle of the room. Superman is weak. Lois does her best to be a WNBA player.
Okay, so I love this. Because this
Do
is,
you? I don't.
I love it ironically. Because that was like a thing. Remember, like from like the 80s and 90s, I was like, oh, but the character's got like one like really specific skill set
of
that in the
course I
last
remember.
minute is going to like become useful. I'm trying to think of an actual example of that off the top of my head, and I can't. But this is an example here where like she starts at the episode like shooting like paper balls into a hoop, and at the end of it, she like, oh, I got this now. And
Yeah.
it's pretty fantastic.
It's so. I can't be on board with the T-Rex and not be on board with this.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
So the moment I was going to talk about earlier, which I love, is Superman is like almost out for the count. He's very weak, and he remembers one of the tour guides when he was there earlier, being oh yes, in this civilization, everyone died of lead poisoning because the cups were made of lead. And I just wrote, science saves the day.
Science saves the day. Okay, I did a quick search. I haven't found a specific example, but
Is there a name for this trope?
it's the greatest name ever.
Oh, what is it?
Chekov's skill.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's so
That's
genius.
so good.
Oh my god. Sorry, I'm lost for the rest of the episode.
That's
I'm
amazing.
I'm so obsessed with this now. Go on.
So yeah, Lois uses her WNBA skills, takes the wad of kryptonite, shoots it in the lead cup. Superman feels great, blows up the T-Rex, kind of seals off the lead cup and throws it into space.
Yep.
Which I love. And then that's the end of the episode, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm still.
The end is another cliffhanger ending where they're going out to kind of the middle of nowhere, and we see LexCorp mining for more kryptonite.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking through the list of like examples now. There's a whole bunch of them. Like in Aliens, when Rip is like, "Oh, I can use like the lift loader," and then she comes back later and can use it in the end. Marty McFly riding a skateboard. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, there's so many. Okay, I gotta,
Side episode.
I gotta
bonus episode
I gotta
on
steer away
Chekov's
from this. I gotta
skills.
steer away from this. It's so fantastic.
So I remember from Smallville there being multiple types of kryptonite.
There are multiple types of kryptonite, Cameron.
This isn't staged at all.
No. So yeah, the most common one that everyone knows is obviously green kryptonite, which makes him weak.
Yes.
And it's had, like, in long-term exposure will kill him. It's had, over the years, different effects on human characters. So obviously in Smallville, it gave them all like weird mutant powers. In the comics, it gave Lex Luthor cancer.
Except Lana, who I now remember
wore
wore
a
a
necklace
kryptonite necklace
for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
But
since it landed and killed her parents.
I think it had to be like kryptonite plus science. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like kryptonite and bees. You could control bees. And like kryptonite. Oh, remember one of my favorites was it was kryptonite laced gum turned Pete Ross into like Stretch Armstrong.
Oh, that's amazing.
That was a later episode. Like,
Okay,
he came
yeah.
back after he had was no longer part of the
that's
show.
right. That's right.
Yeah, which is pretty ridiculous. And I think so in the comics, Lex gets cancer from kryptonite. Was that? I feel like that was part of a plot line of Justice League Unlimited too.
All-Star Superman. That was the story.
Okay, that's right.
Because Superman is also dying
But
from having too much sun radiation.
yeah, exactly. Like Luthor like tricks him into going into the sun. Yeah.
Lex is also dying. So kind of as his last wish, he gets Superman's powers for the day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've read that and I've seen it once.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Grant Morrison, weird stuff, but it's done good stuff.
I think of the Superman specific movies, animated movies, that one's pretty high up on my list.
Okay,
I think it's just between that and
Doomsday.
I forgot what to say. The
Yeah.
Elite. was the one
Okay,
was
I
thinking
couldn't
of.
get into the Elite.
I liked it.
I maybe need to give that one another shot. I really like Superman Doomsday.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
All the solo Superman animated films have been pretty good.
pretty solid. Yeah, for the most part.
Then there was the one of him and Shazam, which was okay.
That's like a short, right?
Yeah, because that's half of Public Enemies.
Oh yeah, it's a little bonus thing.
But what other types of kryptonite are there? Because I remember
There's red, which makes him
mean.
Makes him mean. It takes away his inhibitions.
Right.
Yeah, but basically just makes him Dick. Dick. It makes him Dick Clark.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey,
It forces him to do the ball drop every year.
exactly. Throw some more colors at me, Cameron. I'll tell you if it's a form of kryptonite.
Well, I'm trying to remember because when a human wears it, that also wears red. That also takes away their inhibition. Because I feel like I remember
does it?
that being like the steamy, quote unquote, steamy episode of Smallville.
Oh, I thought there
Lana
was.
is wearing the ring.
I thought there was something else that happened to her.
I feel like she's wearing kryptonite.
I don't remember. It's been a long time. I remember there was one episode where like he wears the ring and he meets like that girl who can teleport, and she's kind of like a little, not evil, but she's like kind of like a darker edge to her. And then they go off and like elope in Vegas or some shit like that. Man, trying to remember all this Marvel stuff.
I know, and he like.
Okay, so
that's a
we
weird
got
episode.
green, red. This is just in Smallville alone. There's also silver.
Is that the one that
There's blue?
Is blue the one that gives other people his powers?
Okay. Oh no. Okay. So in the comics, blue affects Bizarro in the same way.
Oh, that green affects him.
But I think in Smallville it had some other effect. There's not a quick way for me to look that up. There's black and there's silver. What does silver do? This is super fascinating for people.
One gives him like more strength and like hold almost a tiny piece of the sun, from what I remember.
Okay, at least in the comics, silver causes him to suffer from altered perceptions, loss of inhibition, and extreme hunger cravings.
That's just his form of marijuana.
Yeah, or makes you also hallucinate your greatest fear. That was in the Supergirl TV show.
Okay.
There's gold, which permanently removes your ability. But I guess post-crisis is like temporary.
Okay.
But yeah, there's blue, there's white, there's red, green, there's gold, there's silver, jewel. It's like has like a psychic thing with the fucking Phantom Zone. What's the hell? Slow kryptonite.
I have no idea.
I don't. Pink kryptonite. There's all of them.
But we only deal with green in this show, right? In this universe, I don't think we have any other colors.
I don't think we ever even get red.
I don't think so either.
We have Periwinkle Kryptonite, which a non-canon story causes Kryptonians to lose all inhibitions.
So a lot of it is just like, I don't feel like doing it. That's like...
Orange Kryptonite from Krypton the Superdog will give another animal, specifically an animal, super abilities for 24 hours.
All right, I'm down for that one.
Yeah.
My dog that can fly.
Black Kryptonite can split a person into two entities, one good and one evil.
Okay, that
Yeah.
one's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of super stories that do that.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm
What
waiting
do you...
for Rainbow.
No, what do you think Pink Kryptonite does?
Does it change genders?
No.
Oh,
It seemingly turns Kryptonians gay.
that's amazing. Oh, man.
Also, that was from 2003, so that's really...
I was ready to hear like 1958.
That's really bizarre.
All right, well, that'll be on our reading list for the week.
Yeah. Wait, actually, sorry. That's wrong. It doesn't turn them gay. It gives them the choice to be gay.
There you go.
There we go. Now it all works.
Way to be politically correct, Chris.
Yeah. Try to be as authentic as possible on this podcast. Do you think it turns gay Kryptonians straight? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Any more things you want to talk about Kryptonite?
Not really. I've learned so much already.
So much. I did learn this. Apparently, first introduced on one of the Superman radio broadcasts, and then in the comics.
The idea of Kryptonite or the colors?
Just Kryptonite had its
Okay.
first premiere in an Adventure Superman radio program in June of 1943.
That's awesome.
In the comics, not until 1949, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much to talk about with Kryptonite. We're not even
But
gonna
we
bother
have
with it.
other episodes to talk about that for.
We do. We absolutely do. So instead, any plugs? Any plugs, Cameron?
I've only been watching garbage for the past 2 weeks. I guess I'll plug, because it's easier for you. I'll plug Dark Tower
Okay.
because it was.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I have to scramble to get through this.
I don't recommend it for anyone because I never read the book,
Okay.
but I see from the world building, I see why they made it a movie.
Okay.
Someone on Facebook said it was it was this generation's or this decade's Golden Compass, which
Okay.
I
like
can
great
kinda
source
compare it
material,
to.
just a not effective.
From memory, I enjoyed the Golden Compass movie.
Okay.
I've been
enjoy
meaning
everything.
to rewatch it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
regardless of how garbage it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
But this one, they had two great characters. Elba and McConaughey were amazing in it. But they had no script to really work with. Elba is just kind of the brooding Lone Ranger type. And McConaughey is just the the evil one-liners.
Okay, that's
So
too bad.
It relies a lot on the kid, who's not great. There's a scene where he's supposed to be super emotional, and all I could think of is that kid from 13 Reasons Why would have been so much better at this.
Oh, Dylan Minnette.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's great though.
yeah. This kid is not.
No.
What's even worse is this is my last little note about this movie. He has a friend. I don't want to call him a friend because he's very mean to him through the whole movie.
Okay.
But the friend is maybe one of the worst actors I've ever seen.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And it's funny how bad of an actor he is because he's super flat with all of his lines. He's just what are you doing? It's why are you doing that? Do you want to hang out? Stop drawing? And I'm gonna leave the theater because I'm glad that you don't see him in the second half of the movie because it's infuriatingly bad.
Oh, that is disappointing. Because I've heard that is a great universe and that the books and the comics are really good. And I guess they're still working on a TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll have anything to do with the movie. Probably not.
Probably
Would be
not
my
after
guess, 'cause
this.
it's so bad. But no, it's too bad.
But yeah, that's part of the garbage that I've been watching this week.
Okay.
What have you been watching anything good?
No, I've been way behind on watching anything.
Reading, listening.
I have been listening
Huh.
to the new episodes of James Bonding.
Oh, that's right. I remember you were really excited about
Yes,
that.
which is maybe my favorite podcast. Actually,
And it definitely is your favorite podcast.
it's my favorite podcast. I love it.
You
I love it
don't
so
need to be coy about that.
I was traveling this weekend, so I had to get on a plane. And at any point where I was starting to get just frustrated by the overall experience of having to fly, I just listened to the podcast and I just started laughing to myself. and I was so happy. But yes, I mean, because they did their first run on Nerdist, and then they stopped a little while ago. And now they're on Earwolf, and they're doing one every week. And so
That's awesome.
This was.
Is it still Matt and Matt?
It's still Matt and Matt, yes. Messieurs Matt Gorley and Matt Myra.
Yes.
And this week's episode that I listened to was a tribute to Roger Moore entitled "Nobody Does It Better." You don't know why it's called that, do you? Doesn't matter.
Nope.
It's fine. For any of the people who do know, you'll understand why it's so great.
Yeah, got nothing.
But no,
in mind.
it is so. Those guys are so goddamn funny.
I listened to one episode.
Okay.
I listened to Casino
Royale. Okay, yeah. That's not the best episode to listen to because they have two guests on there who came on to do Goldfinger and just ripped Goldfinger apart for its admittedly horrible treatment of women. And then they're like, okay, well then come on and do Casino Royale because it's much more evolved. And it was just kind of like, I agree with everything they had to say about Goldfinger, but then they were like, "Oh, we didn't even finish watching Casino Royale." I'm like, well,
Oh, that's right. I
And I
remember
was-
saying
I-
that. I'm like, how
yeah,
dare you
'cause, like,
still
they-
come onto the podcast?
They got like a lot of like overly vicious backlash on it. Like it was really, really terrible for the Goldfinger thing, which is totally unwarranted. And then I was like, okay, you have really valid opinions, but at least finish the damn movie when it comes to Casino Royale because it's also amazing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, like if you watch Goldfinger and that's your first introduction to James Bond, you're like, oh, these are absolutely horrible to women, and they absolutely were back in the day. And it does get better with Casino Royale, but it's still not necessarily the best. So you're going to come in with a certain perspective, and I get where they're coming from.
Yeah.
But there are better episodes to listen to. And actually, the thing you should really listen to is Paul F. Tompkins' podcast, the Dead Authors podcast.
Okay.
And so in it, he has a whole episode where Matt Gorley comes on and it does an Ian Fleming impression because the premise
you and one of our other
Shane,
friends
we've talked about,
continue
because
to
the
make
premise of the Dead
show.
Authors podcast is that comedians come on and pretend to be a dead author and they have a conversation. So like Mark Evan Jackson did Gore Vidal once, which was really great. But yeah, that is probably the funniest half hour of podcast I've ever heard in my entire life. I've listened to it, I don't know, 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
I'll plug both of those. It's amazing. But yeah, those are my plugs.
All right.
Yay.
We did it.
We did. Next week, I don't know what it is. I had it up. I've taken it down.
Episode 6 and 7.
Episode 6 and 7. Some more Superman villains. But if you want to reach out to us and tell us to put some more energy in these podcasts and stop recording them late at night the day before, you can reach us at Timm Talk Pod on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Or if you want to write to us and tell us what's your favorite form of kryptonite.
Yeah.
No, it's-
What color kryptonite do you wish you had?
No one's going to do that. Cameron, can you do that? Can you like write to the podcast?
Yeah, I'll start.
Just so I see
I'll
that
make a
someone
bunch
has
of
done
I'll
it.
make a bunch of fake accounts and just start
Yeah.
writing to you.
Please, anyone send me something. I'm lonely.
You're about to have a roommate.
I know. I'm super excited. Yeah. Unrelated to anyone else, this is probably the last episode we're going to record in my current apartment. And then off to new pastures. But if you want to congratulate me on my move or see photos of the process, you can find me at Lordifer on Instagram and Twitter.
Oh, and you can find me if you want to see my face. You can find me at CamDexter_adventures. If you want to see my art, you can find me at Cameron.Dexter.
Yay.
Yeah.
And that's it. We're done.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.
The Nerdist School Network. For class and show information, visit nerdistschool.com.